Virginia Bell.
We don't have no questions.
Present. Wait,
Ms.
no.
Linda
Yeah, we
Cheney.
good, we good.
Present.
Ms. Joyce Porter.
She's absent.
Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms.
Travis
Miranda
Moses.
Watt. Here. Ms. Donna Jackson. Here. Mr. Alton Travis.
Here.
Okay, receive personnel updates and workforce dashboards. Ms. Miranda Watson, HR Supervisor.
Good evening. Our report is not that lengthy tonight. We have 2 new hires who will be coming in next week to complete their onboarding processes. And then we had 1 resignation at Shada in the past month. Below you will see we're only advertising now at the Early Learning Center for a teaching assistant, 4th grade science teacher, and a custodian. And then we don't have any vacancies at the central office at this time. If you look at the dashboard report, it shows the percentages of our staffing for our teachers, which I think is pretty good. We are 100% staffed with teachers at the Early Learning Center. We're 95% staffed at the Arts and Technology Academy with that 1 vacancy. And then we have all our teaching positions filled at the College and Career Academy at 100%.
We got a math teacher at the high school.
Yes, ma'am.
And a ELA.
And the
Yes,
ELA.
ma'am.
Oh, good. Uh, Any questions? No? Okay, that concludes the personnel committee. Budget and finance will come to order. Oh. Budget and finance.
Ms. Virginia Bell.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney.
Present.
Ms. Olivia Porter. Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms. Ashley Castle. Here. Ms. Tracy Womack.
Present. Okay. Hey, you know, you need,
You gonna be there?
okay, budget and finance receive and consider for approval recommendations for the firm to conduct 2023-24 fiscal year audit.
Good evening, everyone. The finance department, we did complete the audit last month. The legislative auditor received everything. Our findings, unfortunately, Bruno and Turvalon, who we do our audit with, they received a negative peer review and they will no longer be able to do our audit. So we are now in the market for a new auditor's firm. We are shopping, myself and Falcon Winkler. We are looking for an auditor's firm. I know we have been using Bruno and Turvalon for years. So will be something new. I will keep you all up to date on our new firm and be as transparent with you all as possible. Yes. Our auditor firm, Bruno and Turvalon, they won't be able to conduct our audit because they received a negative peer review from the legislative auditor's office. So we have to find a new firm.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
There is one that Falcon Winkler suggested. What's the name of that?
Yes. The Colder. So I will be.
Where are they from?
They are from Baton. Yes. So. Yes. So there is one also in Lafayette. We are waiting on a quote from them, and we'll present it to you all for you all to make a decision on who you all would like to go with. So I will get as much detailed information and pricing as I can for you all and have it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, that concludes the budget and finance.
All right. Thank you.
All this community call to order. Roll call.
Mr. Alton Travis. Ms. Joyce Porter.
Absent.
Mr. George Hughes,
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph,
Here.
Ms. Bell,
Ms. Virginia Bell,
Present.
receive and consider for approval 2025 committee and board meeting dates and schedules.
Good afternoon, committee. We have compiled the dates for next year. Normally there's a conflict with the LSBA conference, but this year there's no conflict. So all of the schedules is for the second Thursday in every month. There's no conflict with LSBA conference this year.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. We'd like for you to approve it.
So move. Motion been made to approve this.
Second.
Second. There's no further discussion. Vote.
Mr. Alvin Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Virginia Bell,
Yes.
Mr. George Hughes.
Yes.
3-0 motion carries.
That concludes committee meeting. Bill and grounds
Mr. Alvin Travis,
here.
Ms. Joyce Porter, Mr. George Hughes,
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph,
Here.
Mr. Edward Gelman,
Here. Ms. Bell, would you tell me?
Yeah.
Ms. Virginia Bell,
All right, receive and consider for approval prime contract potential change order, classroom paint, gym, classroom canopy, exterior sign, electrical repair, outdoor classroom canopy lights, early detection, fire alarm.
Good evening, board, and Dr. Joseph. Change orders, a couple of them has already been done. That classroom paint touch up after the contractor was finished with the painting. And you probably heard this before. We had the executive went and installed a different speaker, a different size, some in different places, and moved around. So that created that void in the paint, and we installed the pipe to run the technology in the gym and whatever, where it ran in the gym where it had to be painted. So those things have been done already.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the classroom canopy. When they put the canopy there, somewhere along the mix, between the conversation with Dr. Joseph and us trying to get the bill lower, somehow they cut out the canopy over and say, but all along, that's what Dr. Joseph wanted, the canopy. And this is the cost of putting that canopy, because they said that they didn't charge for it, didn't account for it because, it wasn't there. But all along, right now, as Dr. Joseph described, it's a concrete slab. And we wanted covered. That other cost of that is, you see associated with that, the number three, no, that's not number three. Number four is directly in coordination with the canopy. In other words, they're going to provide electricity so that if they're doing a electric board, they have power to do whatever they do under the canopy. You want to speak on that, canopy?
Well, the lights, and speaking with Ms. Jackson, we don't feel like we need the
Lights.
lights
Because
it's,
in other words, and we could vary if we decide we want electricity over there, we can run it over there for a lot cheaper than $7,000. So they're saying $7,600 to run the electricity over there. That's associated and putting matching lights to the lights that's under the other canopy, same style. And they have to run the power over the top. The reason the price was up, as we went and walked, they would be bringing the power underground because we don't have the canopy extending out to that canopy. It's, the word that canopy, you walk out to it to get under the canopy. So they'd have to go underground. They told me that's why the cost was what it was. The other cost, I kind of disagree with that cost, but this would be a challenge. Number three, that exterior sign, when they started work at that site, that exterior sign was working and whatever. Over time, they knocked it up out of the ground. My explanation was it was not buried to electrical code. In other words, it was just under the surface a few inches, and I couldn't argue with them because when we paid somebody to install a sign, they just put the conduit just under the surface. Once the equipment started running over it, it tore it up. Well, they went back and repaired it and put it to code, and that's what that cost is associated with. And the work has been done on that one. The number 5, Dr. Jill, I know I scared you when we looked at the fact that we might have to put a window, opening window because of the egress in the building. I got that report. We saw that report from the fire marshal's office. I immediately called Tipton and talked to them about it and talked about other options that we could try and employ. And that's when they said, well, we already came up with what we're going to ask them to do a plan review on. And that's what that number 5 is. It's early fire detection alarm and early detection smoke detectors and pull stations. We already have pull stations. Please note the existing devices that are in the building now are conventional devices and up to date. In order to use and reuse the running cable of the building, we would need to replace them with intelligent devices. In other words, instead of having that system, pull stations and the smoke detectors work as 2 separate entities, what they're saying there is that they're going to have to employ those where when one trigger, the other one triggers. So they're going to have to integrate those. So we'll probably have to move away from the kind that we have. So that's probably why that additional cost. And they're asking for $10,000 on that one. And having done these things, we are very close. They let my plants. We're gonna have to ask them for some more plants because those plants are dead. 85% of them, in my mind, they're yellow because, in other words, we have harsh conditions. If they didn't keep water on it, it's not gonna last. So
There's no sprinkler system there?
no. We
Yeah,
can
that problem.
now we can employ and just do a drip tape.
Right.
We can do our own drip tape after they're gone, but we need to get the right stuff in there before we inherit it. So they're in the process of transitioning keys. I have the keys to the administration building, and we're working on now the keys to those gates because we're gonna have where now place to be boxed in. I still want to see a gate across that entryway. I know we are locked in on that side, but as a part of me that don't feel good with the public being able to drive in there in the dark and sit back in that cut, because there is a gate on the back, so they can drive in now.
You talking about a gate on that side where that?
In other words, we were in the plans, and we can eliminate the gate by the road where the big pine tree was.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, because now we have a gate on the breezeway.
Mm-hmm.
You have to come through a door to go into the administration building. It's gated between the administration building and the classroom building.
Mm-hmm.
It's gated between the classroom building and Mr. Evans' store, for lack of a better word. And then the other way, the shop now is gated between the cafeteria and the shop. So everywhere along there, either you got to go in the building, but at the same time, I think we really need to look at that gate across that front because it allows somebody to pull up in there and be in there as like a public space. So, but that's down the road. And this should conclude our contract with them. And you're looking at those totals in front of you. This should close it out. And I'm asking that the board to go ahead on approve it. Other than
How much is all that
this total out, I want to say we had, well, that figure would have been, but we pulled out the, we want to pull out the electricity out there.
Oh, the lights, you see.
Yeah, the lights, which is going to be all the electricity associated with running power over there.
Mhm.
Don't let them run no power at all, which is 7,000. Let me get my calculator. Hold on. Give me a minute, sir. You got it? Okay, I got you. I got 2,294 6 plus 58 066.
75,427, roughly,
75,000.
427.
That's within our budget.
Yes, we do have funds to cover that cost.
And in addition, Doc, I haven't received it yet. We are going to need to address guardrails at the medical center.
Mhm.
When we built it different this time. We built it with ADA code as far as the slant. We put the approach from up the hill and the slant. Under code, we do not have to have guardrail, but they are requesting guardrail. So we looked at it. I don't have it yet, but I have a gentleman that came looked at putting skirt around the trailer and putting guardrail, and he'll have me a total very quickly. But they asked for guardrail.
And I recommend that we get the guardrail. I mean, being, you
It's
know,
always a safety.
Yeah, and they asked for it. We couldn't have anything happen, and they asked for it, and we didn't do it. If they hadn't asked for it, because by design we was trying to have the slope where if it is not a slant or it's slope, it's not 30 inches drop off the side,
Mhm.
you don't have to put a guardrail. But if they ask for it, then you have to put it. Thank you.
Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion been made, seconded, for this to full vote.
Mr. Alvin Travis,
Yes.
Mr. George Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. William Bell.
Yes.
3-0 motion carried, refer to the full board to vote.
That concludes the building.
Ms. Gollin, can you lead us in prayer, please?
Lord, once again, we come before you, Lord, with thanksgiving in our hearts. Lord, thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for what you're doing every day in our personal lives. And Lord, thank you for what you're doing in our learners' lives. Lord, let every action that we take tonight be for the benefit and the uplift of the children of this great parish. Lord, we thank you for the mindsets to come together and do this work. Lord, give us strength as we leave this place to make it home and to venture out and have many more days in front of us. These things we ask in your son Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting room will now come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the St. Helena Parish School Board. Roll call,
Ms. George Porter,
absent,
Ms. Lolita Porter,
absent,
Ms. Linda Cheney,
present.
Mr. George Hughes,
Present.
Ms. Virginia Bell, Mr. Alvin Travis,
Here.
Item B, approve minutes and agenda, September the 26th, 2024, committee meetings, September the 26th, 2024, regular board meeting, and the current agenda. Can I get a motion to approve those collectively? Motion by Mr. George Hughes,
Second.
second by Mr. Alton Travis. Any questions? No questions shall pass by general consent. Item C, new business. Guest speaker, Mr. Jonathan Lovell, candidate for Board of Trustees for the Teacher Retirement System of Louisiana District 5.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I come bringing greetings from East Feliciana Parish. Thank you, President Cheney and Dr. Joseph, for the opportunity to briefly speak with you. I'm an educator in East Feliciana Parish. I work on our central office team on our district's strategic plan, on sales tax, and on communications. And I'm coming to you this evening because I'm a candidate for the Teachers Retirement System of Louisiana Board of Trustees. The incumbent in that particular race is termed out of office. So I am running because I believe that our rural communities need a strong advocate for our retirement system. I've taught for the last 16 years, been in education in East Feliciana Parish for the last 16 years. And I think it's important that we have a member on TRSL who really understands the issues that face our rural communities, who really understands how important the teachers' retirement system is to communities like Greensburg, to our educators here in St. Helena Parish. The district's a big one. It goes all the way from Union Parish on the Arkansas state line, all the way down here to Tangipahoa, St. Helena Parish. And I wanted to come and join you this evening just to encourage you to get out and vote. If you're a member of TRSL, you are eligible to vote. Your ballots will be out starting October 18. It's a runoff, and you'll be able to vote again until November 18. You'll receive that ballot in the mail, and you can either vote by mail, by telephone, or by online on your smartphone, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I've got my card here this evening, and happy to discuss with you specific concerns that you have about your own retirement, because bottom line is you have worked hard for your retirement, and you deserve to know that it's going to be protected and sustained over the next several years. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you. I always enjoy visiting my friends and neighbors here in St. Helena Parish.
Thank you. All right. Item D, principal reports.
We'll start with Ms. Tempest Smith, principal for St. Helena Early Learning Center.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Joseph. I did share a presentation, but I also have a copy of it. And this evening, I will be speaking on our discipline and school safety. So as that is coming around, just to review our district vision is to create an equitable and productive school culture that increases learner success, develops educator effectiveness, and builds public confidence. Our district theme this year has been system, structures, processes, and outcomes, which is how I stated this presentation tonight. Our school theme, we are raising proficiency. So we want our learners to be on grade level or above. So our school theme has been to proficiency and beyond. So for our system of behavior, we have a behavior referral process. That's our system. The structure involves our teachers, our parents, our safe space TOR moderator, and our administration. The process of what this looks like is step 1, we give a verbal, nonverbal warning. Step 2, we move on to loss of privileges for those learners. Then we move on to step 3, where we have a teacher conference, and then parent contact. So the parents are contacted at that point. If behaviors continue on and become more severe, then administration deems necessary whether or not the learner may need to go to TOR or safe space. Following that, we take official administrative action. Now, this process starts over each day. The learners get a chance to have a new day, new fresh start every day. So this 5-step process is only for those learners or those behaviors that are very severe and happen all in one day. Okay. So far our outcomes have been that we have no bullying reports. We have 8 major referrals, 6 of them being on-campus referrals and 2 being bus referrals. Those on-campus referrals were from 3 learners, meaning that 2 of them were from consistent learners or learners that had multiple referrals, so had 2 referrals. And they were on willful disobedience and unauthorized use of technology. Moving on to our school safety. First, I started talking about our drills that we have conducted in August. We started off with the bus evacuation drill on August 13th, and there are pictures to show that, as well as our fire drills. We had 2 in August, on August 15th and August 29th. And we had one in September, on September 29th as well. We're moving forward in October. We have an intruder drill, active shooter drill coming next week, as well as fire drill for this month as well. As far as building safety, we have our locked doors for the administrative offices where our visitors must buzz in to get into the office. We also have, once they do come into the office, they have to check in with our Raptor system with the secretary. So they have to have their ID on them so that they can check in. And then we have a protocol for when our gates are locked at times, who's locking the gates, when the gates are going to be locked, so that we have safety around campus. So that concludes our behavior and school safety for the ELC. Any questions?
You're in the new building now?
Not yet. We're still on the same campus as Shada, so yes.
Our ribbon cutting will be October 29th. That's the plan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next, we'll have Mr. McPherson, Principal for St. Helena Arts and Technology Academy.
I have my presentation. I emailed it to everyone. Oh. I can display it on the can I display it on
Are you all okay with that?
Yes.
okay, can we display on the screen?
Ms. Strickland, do you have a presentation? Okay, well, why don't you go and then we'll set you up and you can do it after this one.
All right, good morning, or good evening. Good afternoon. So I want to speak on the safety and then the discipline at the St. Helena College and Career Academy. In the mornings when the learners get off the bus, we are searching their book sacks and wanding them. Every learner that comes through the back, they're not allowed to be dropped off in the front of school anymore. All car riders and bus are all dropped off in the back so that it's easier for them to grab their breakfast and go to class. They're not walking from the front to the back just to get their breakfast. So they are searched. If they do end up coming in late and they come in the front, they have to pass the metal detector in the front as well. If campus is locked, all the gates are locked in the back. Mr. Gordon is responsible for locking the learner parking in the back at 8 o'clock. He locks that gate. They have to enter through the front of campus after that. To come into campus, of course, the front door is locked. You buzz in, you go through the Raptor system, and then you're allowed to go where you want to go. So we are pushing for safety on the campus. Throughout the day, if we're notified of a concern, myself or one of the administrators go and address it as quickly as we can. The discipline data that you were handed, since August, since we started school, there have been 92 referrals. 61 of them only went to learner conferences. They were major referrals, but we were able to have a conference with the learner and their parents, either in person or over the phone. It was resolved and they were allowed to go back to class, or they went back to class the next day. It was for various reasons. Sometimes it was just disrespectful, skipping class, horse playing, etc. Simple things like that. 26 of those 92 referrals were out of school suspension, and that was only out of 22 learners. So it's not 26, it's 22 learners were actually suspended. 10 were for fights, 2 were for threatening learners or faculty, 4 were for disrespect, 2 skipping class, 2 were for just vapes, just regular old vapes, not the THC ones. 3 leaving campus without permission, 1 cell phone violation, 1 gambling, 1 profane or obscene language. We've had 5 that have been assigned to ISS on site out of those referrals. ISS began on October 1. Prior to that, our ISS facilitator was actually covering a class, but we hired a teacher for that class, so she transitioned back into ISS. She was teaching English until we hired a teacher for that. 25 learners have served ISS. Within ISS, we're trying to work with restorative justice and behavior counseling. That's through myself, Mr. Williams, Ms. Porter, Ms. Burton has also met with some of those learners as well. We've had 6 expulsions. We've had 6 learners, 1 for fighting. He had 3 different fights. So he had his 3 chances. He was expelled. 2 were for threats to other learners there on campus. 3 were for THC vapes. The 3 THC vapes also received a court summons to go before the judge as well because they had marijuana in the vape on campus. We've had 2 bullying events. One is currently, we only had 1. We had another one pop up yesterday, and we are doing that bullying investigation now. Any questions? All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. McPherson.
Good evening again. I wanted to present it on the screen so my color could pop. All right. So as we are talking about our school discipline data and safety practices, so we all know our district vision, and we know that this is a big key in developing our public confidence when it talks to safety. But of course, it hits educator effectiveness, and of course, it aids in increasing our learner success. All right. So this year's theme is making sure that we have strong systems to produce soaring outcomes. We can have excellence in every single classroom. All right. So this is our response. So the majority of our incidents are comprised of the big whammy, willful disobedience. Of course, we've had a few minor fights, but I wanted to actually present this particular data trend. This is how we responded. As you can see, there's but 1 ISS on site. There are no out-of-school suspensions. We've had 3 loss of privileges, and that was because 1 was due to a bus incident and the other was due to a school incident. We held conference with parents and guardians. Of course, we contacted parents and guardians. So the difference is with the contact, as you can see with the graph of 12, we called them on the phone. And then that 1 we held a conference, that's pretty much a parent shadow, just when it gets a little bit more in depth. And as you can see, the majority of our responses, which are 32, it is holding a conference with our learners. We're trying to make sure we have as much restorative practices as possible. We want to make sure that the learners actually see, while they're in 3rd through 6th grade, the true consequences of their actions. We don't want to reprimand them. We want them to see how their actions can impact them as they matriculate on into adulthood. So I'm very proud of that. We're trying to make sure that we keep the kids in school, because we saw that when we did that last year, we saw a lot of great increases with our learner success, especially with our growth. All right, so we want to be proactive, and we want to make sure that we address gaps. So of course, everyone knows about our PBIS, and I'm going to go a little bit in depth with our secret weapon that's been making that more data driven. And of course, we want to equip our teachers. We have a number of new teachers that we want to give them classroom management strategies. This year, Ms. Wright, our disciplinarian, is within, bounds, going into classrooms quite frequently, because there needs to be a bridge between quality engaging instruction and what's happening with discipline, because you can't have one without the other. As far as our intervention programs, we are making sure that we contact parents, not just when we're doing things that are unwarranted, but even when we have positive phone calls home. Last year, for the 100th day of school, we made 100 positive phone calls home and 100 notes. So that's what we're talking about. And then we also have external partnerships. One of our great partnerships is partnering with Southeast Community Health Systems. Our counselor, Ms. Diana Eden, she's very on the grounds and making sure that she can help us in whatever way possible. All right, this is our secret weapon. Of course, we all know when it's time for our monthly PBIS event, sometimes the teachers will just go with how they feel, but we know that we can't trust feelings, we have to trust data. So this is one of the greatest weapons that we've had. It's our electronic behavior management system. The teachers can log it in there. The parents are automatically notified. It's called Class Dojo, and we're also able to track the data from month to month to make sure that we're truly honoring our vision to make data-based decisions. So this is an example of a 4th grade class. The top, you can see their current points for the month, and then at the bottom, those are the actions that they get rewarded for. And we just want to make sure that the kids are not just keeping up with their academic data, but keeping up with their behavioral data. And we want to make sure that everything we do is not biased. We want to make sure that they are rewarded and they are steered in the correct direction. And this is what we use to base our PBIS events off of. All right, so our school safety overview. We have the vector system. That is a screenshot of my iPhone. Thanks to Ms. Trinice Jackson and her team. The vector system is a buzzer. And so it's at the front of our office. I can unlock with my web. I can unlock with my app. Our secretary has that, even the secretary at the ELC, and we're able to look at the camera, see who's there, and gain them entry. We have emergency preparedness, Ms. Smith. Of course, you all know we're on the same campus, so all the fire drills and bus evacuation that she's done, I've done as well. We have our Raptor system. That is a screenshot of our secretary getting the date of birth and the driver's license from every visitor who has to go beyond our front campus, our front office rather. And this has been very valuable because we've actually caught some people who had some priors that wouldn't have had our best interests at heart. And so we do that with every parent event, every person who comes on campus, if they have to leave that main office. And our gate locking standards, operating procedures, we want to make sure that even if we have deliveries, we have things going on at 750, that bus gate locks, we have the black gate by the gym, everything is locked. And so as we're producing our strong systems, our custodial team is very key in implementing our safety measures in this regard. All right, future safety initiatives, of course, we're not perfect. We're addressing gaps. And so with the new construction, Mr. Garman is making sure that we have master keys for all 3 campuses. So in the event that something happens, everyone is kept safe and we're able to respond as needed. Enhancing preparedness. Of course, you can do a safety drill in August with your teachers talking about shelter in place, but come March, it goes out of the window. So we want to make sure that we're able to do that consistently. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, collaborating with our community to let the parents know our safety measures and to make sure that we have other helping hands to keep our learners safe. So at this time, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
We'll give Ms. Strickland an opportunity to also talk about safety that she put in place on her campus.
Well, I mentioned about in the mornings, we wand our learners and everything else along there. Of course, we have our locked front door. When we have our game nights, we have plenty of security there for our football games tomorrow night. We'll have plenty of security there to ensure that all of our visitors on campus are safe and everything like that. If we do have visitors on campus, they are escorted by someone on staff around the campus. We don't allow just someone from the community to come in and just wander the campus. We do escort them around because it ensures the safety, and it ensures also that they go to where they're supposed to go and then they come back. We have gotten new locks for some of our classroom doors that we did not have locks for or keys for. We have now, all of our teachers now have keys to their classrooms so they can lock their doors in the event if we do a lockdown or something like that. The majority of them keep them locked the entire time. And myself or the administration, we go in, we use our keys to access the classroom. So that has increased. That's another level of safety because rather than just having the front door and the gates that they have to get through, the door teachers have their classroom doors locked as well. So, and as we move forward, we do different things that will ensure the safety as different things come up. We have done 2 fire drills. We have another one planned for this month as we move forward. So we will have multiple more drills.
All right. Item E, superintendent's report.
The only thing that I'd like to share with the community and the board, Ms. Jackson, would you come up and talk about the Super Saturday for November 9th?
Good evening, board. So our Super Saturday will be on November the 9th. I need for everybody to write that down, mark your calendars. And it will be from 9 that morning up until 12 that afternoon. And we're gonna have Southeast on campus. We're gonna have, I'm just trying to remember everybody that we're supposed to have. We're gonna have STEM NOLA. They will be on campus as well. And they're gonna have projects and activities for the learners to do. And also our principals will be on campus. And what they're going to do is they're going to provide the data for our parents, and they're going to be there from 9 to 10. And while they're there, the learners will be in the gym with STEM NOLA from 9 until 12 o'clock. So we invite everybody to come out. Ms. Womack would be there, the rest of the directors will be there, and we want everybody to participate and have a great time. Thank you. And remember, on November the 9th, from 9 to 12.
That's my report.
All right, item F, approved committee reports from October the 10th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
I move we approve the committee.
Motion by Mr. Travis, second by Mr. Hughes. Any questions? No question. Shall pass by general consent. Item G, next meeting date will be now November 14th, 2024. Closing comment, board members? Any board members? Tomorrow's homecoming. Go out and support the Hawks. Go Hawks. Any other comments, board members? Mr. Hughes said, go Hawks. All right, that last motion.
Got it.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.